All right, there we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another DCEU chat with Michael from NerdSense. Welcome, dude.
How's it going, sir?
Pretty decent. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm well, man. This isn't the first time we've spoken today.
No, actually, we did. We have actually spoken before. We sometimes do this where we talk and communicate and such, which is fun. So yeah, we are here to discuss a little bit more DCEU.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, which movie are we at? Because I think we ended on Justice League last time, didn't we?
I believe that's true.
Oh,
These are pretty informal, so it doesn't matter which way we go. But I think we
right.
did Justice League, so we'll go right to Aquaman, which is the follow-up.
Yeah. Basically, I think Aquaman was literally the first movie after the Justice League, wasn't it?
It was.
So, before we go into Aquaman, though, we're about a month away or so from the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League. More stuff has been confirmed, and there will be an international release, so I should be able to see it. How are you feeling about this Zack Snyder cut?
I don't know. I think a lot of people are really excited, or at least a certain segment of population are excited. I am skeptical. I'm happy that he got to finish a version of his vision. Like, it's not the film he was going to make. It just isn't. But I'm glad he's been able to make a movie with his name on it that he's more proud of. But visually, it looks consistent with his earlier stuff, so I'm down with that. But I do know that Warner Brothers executives originally thought that the movie was unwatchable, what they saw. So I'm wondering if they were right all along.
Yeah, and then there was all the reshoots and extra filming that they did, and I'm like, is this reshooting things that he wasn't happy with, or is he just adding material to make a more coherent story? It's all a bit. I mean, reshoots are basically a given in Hollywood these days, anyway. Of course.
Oh yeah, but he didn't do that much reshoots. Allegedly his reshoots are going to cover about 4 minutes.
Oh,
and
really?
They're not so much. And it wasn't so much reshoots so much as most of the budget. I mean, this is alleged. I'm not. Obviously, I wasn't there, but most of the budget was put toward effects, and updating them. But also, he did a scene with Affleck and Leto's Joker.
Yeah, I saw that in the latest trailer. That looked pretty funky and weird. I'm not really sure what to make of it, but I want to. As with everything, I'll always wait until I'll see the finished product. So yeah, I was just curious about your general thoughts on what was coming. Personally, I'm just going in open-minded, and I'll just see what happens. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer looked great.
It did. So, it looked pretty good.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So, Aquaman. Generally speaking, what you see online, a lot of people loved Aquaman. That is an awesome mug, by the way. I love that. That is well played, sir. Well played. But yeah, I love. A lot of people seem to love Aquaman. What did you think?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I liked it enough. It felt like a Disney movie to me.
Right. It felt like the DCEU's attempt to make an MCU movie, like specifically, sorry, go.
I would say that it's just. I would just say it's James Wan's sense of. I don't think it necessarily that was like what the going plan was. I think that was just what he did, and it worked out that way.
It could be that that's just it, but I got some pretty big, Thor vibes, some Thor 2, Thor 3 vibes in terms of wacky humor and muscular but witty male lead. And I don't know. I mean, it works to a degree. I felt the movie visually was very over the top. I felt they tried to create something where they wanted to be outlandish, and it really overdid it a bit, and everything just looked a little bit too out there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I do understand where you're coming from. I think that they were trying to. I think they were trying to do something that done before, as far as creating a world under water. The closest we ever had was like Waterworld in 1995, and there's no modern day type special effects even by the standards of the day. But I mean, James Wan was clearly pulling from a lot of comics and a lot of things that weren't quite ever filmed before. So I think the movie succeeded and failed in some respects on whether you liked that vision of what he was doing. But I mean, no one could say it didn't look like an Aquaman comic. It's bright.
Oh no!
There's sea creatures and action, and it looked like Aquaman. But was it? Did it work on film? I mean, I thought it was pretty good. It's not my favorite, but it was a worthwhile watch.
I mean, I tried rewatching it the other day. I've seen it twice now. It's on Netflix here. I struggled rewatching it. I had to watch it in like 2 or 3 parts.
Okay.
Because it felt so overstimulating, and it felt so, I don't know, garish almost in its visuals. I struggled also, and that's one of my biggest things here. We have a very intensely good cast in this movie, especially with the secondary characters. If you look at, like, of course, Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry, but then you look at actors like Willem Dafoe. We got Nicole Kidman. We have, oh God, I forgot his name. He plays Arthur Curry's half brother. He's in so many things that you don't know he's in. He's so fucking amazing, really. I keep forgetting his name.
Patrick Wilson.
Wilson. Patrick Wilson. I mean, I love Patrick Wilson in so many things. He's awesome. I thought the secondary cast, so to say, they're a main cast, but in these movies, they're usually a secondary cast, but it's usually about the hero and either a sidekick or his love interest, her love interest, whatever you want, in whatever kind of movie. And in this movie, it all felt like the cast was just wasted. Anybody could have done any of these parts, and nothing would have changed, except for maybe Dolph Lundgren, who just worked perfectly in that part of that sort of half villain, half good guy.
Yeah.
King.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at sort of like the history of comic book movies, they sort of done that historically. I mean, even starting with Superman 78, you had the secondary roles were like smaller bit parts played by Marlon Brando. In the late 70s, Marlon Brando, one of the biggest movie stars in the world. So and I mean, was he great as Jor-El? Not really.
No, that's a good point. It's it's a thing where they're like, yeah, we can cash grab here, and it's another down payment from a Malibu home or something. I don't know. But that was one of the things that bugged me a little bit. But yeah,
I liked Willem Dafoe. I thought he was, I mean, not really cast to type. I suppose it was a little bit different role for him, but I thought it was good. I liked that he was sort of on Arthur's side and undermining Patrick Wilson in little ways over the course of the film. But I'm a Willem Dafoe mark. I'll watch him do anything. I'll watch him watch paint dry.
Well, there's one movie with Willem Dafoe, with some sort of horror movie where he does some really fucked up shit. I haven't seen it, and I've heard of it, and I'm not gonna watch it because it's apparently pretty fucked up. But yeah, basically, I'm a big Willem Dafoe fan. I'm not saying I didn't appreciate him in this movie, but it felt generic. Yep. Anybody could have done it, and it goes for like most of the parts. When it comes to casting, okay, let's go to the man himself. Let's go to Aquaman. Let's go to Arthur Curry.
Yeah.
Now, me being Dutch, me being European, a lot of the things that I've seen about Aquaman, it's usually this blonde, short-haired guy. Which, if I'm supposed to believe the memes and everything, this is the lame Aquaman. And then we got, yeah, but this is the point of view because the Aquaman comics here aren't very big. Just saying. So I do understand that the incarnation that we see in the Arthur Curry in this movie is an existing character in the DCEU DC comics. He was there before this movie, the way he looked, the dark long hair and the more buff physique, right?
Maybe not the hair color, but yeah, like
Okay.
there's a version of like the King of Atlantis, bearded, long hair, very buff physique. The short-haired orange and green fella is mostly famous because of the Super Friends. Although it was a character in comics, don't get me wrong. But I mean, like for a period of time, he was like a one-handed, hook-handed, kind of
Really?
destroyer. Very tough kind of a guy. But
okay, so
go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were
No,
done. My bad. I was just curious. What did you think of this Arthur Curry, this Aquaman?
I mean, I like Jason Momoa in most things. I think he's pretty magnetic dude. His version of Arthur, I think, is, I mean, it's as good as you're gonna get on film. Like you can't do the goofy one from the Super Friends. It's not gonna play
No.
well. You have to do from was it Game of Thrones or whatever he was on. This big hunky dude. You highlighted his hair just a little bit, so it's not quite black. It works for me. I don't know how else you do Aquaman.
Well, for me, Jason Momoa. Sorry, yeah.
I say the hair color doesn't make the character to me.
No, of course not. No, of course not. For me, Jason Momoa. I mean, I mostly know him from. I never really watched Game of Thrones, like the first 2 seasons, so that's where I know Jason Momoa from, and I remember him from Stargate Atlantis. So, and of course, all the memes, all the things that you see online. That's where I know him from. So, for me, Jason Momoa is one of my biggest Well, this is a franchise, of course, again, but one of the biggest things that I've really encountered in him, where I saw him first being very big and huge, was Justice League and then Aquaman. I loved him. I think he brought like this big magnetic personality to it. And of course, honestly, I feel that they kind of tried to rip Chris Hemsworth's Thor a little bit, the quirky humor, the lovable, hunky, huge, muscular man who's actually got like a tiny heart and everything. But yeah, I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And for me, I could rewatch the movie right now just for his take on the character, the way he played it. So that for me is a highlight. And the problem is that and some of the great CGI fight sequences, and that's always a big problem because all of it is like CGI fight sequences. Most of it, that was basically the movie for me, and it's pretty forgettable. I've seen it twice now, and both times I saw it, the second time I was like, oh, right, that happened. Oh, yeah, that was a thing. Oh, I forgot about that. It's all just so generic, cookie cutter,
It's funny, because that's almost how I feel in a big way about the next movie we're going to discuss. I got the movie.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I feel like strong beats for me as far as like I mean, I haven't watched the movie in a very long time, and I could probably still give you a pretty rough rundown of what happens in order. I do think that like maybe that final sea battle is a little overwhelming to the eyeballs, where you're just like, what the fuck? You're just waiting for it to get over. And I'm like that with a lot of action scenes, unless they're telling a specific story.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I like the stuff like the chase through the desert, reminded me sort of like Indiana Jones type of thing. And I liked the stuff in Greece, where they have that battle of Black Manta. I thought that was a hell of a lot of fun. I like the stuff where they find Queen Atlanta, like that's a because when they run the trench, I thought that was really fun. There was some cool stuff in that. I thought, even if I thought maybe Mira was a little underplayed, I don't really like the
Oh,
actor either. But
yeah, there's a thing because that I will be honest, and I'm not going to go into that, but for personal reasons, for things that I have experienced in my own personal life several years ago, uh, the entire Amber Heard thing is a thing for me. I'm going to be honest, and I do have issues with it. I do have issues with it, and that does color a part of this movie for me.
okay, that's fair.
But yeah, I don't think she actually did very bad. I mean, she did okay-ish, and I'm just separating the person from the actress from the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the private part from the professional from what she played. So I don't know. I think I understand what they tried to do with Mara, but it felt again a bit too. We want to write a strong female character, but we're just following the process and the steps, and here she is. You know what I mean?
yeah. I feel like it was sort of just trying to create like most of the film, like sort of like an attractive sidekick. You know what I mean? Like it could have been really the way it was written outside of like maybe early on and then at the very end. It could have just really been anything. It didn't have to be her. It could have been Aqualad or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's easy to look at, so I know I understand what they did, but and plus they're trying to create, like maybe they're trying to create a new kind of star character, maybe. But it, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't have an issue with her. I just don't think like she's like that great an actor.
She isn't. She really isn't. She's not bad, and that she had definitely had several moments in the movie where I thought like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. I like this person. I like this personality. But there was nothing outstanding there, and maybe that's the biggest issue I have with the entire movie. Like there was nothing outstanding. There was nothing that made me go, this movie is memorable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't argue. I guess for me, it worked probably slightly better than you, but it's not my favorite either, to be fair.
Yeah.
But like, like the movie, like I said, the next one we're gonna cover, I found like I probably couldn't tell you what happens throughout most of that movie.
No.
Probably couldn't. I mean, I'm gonna pull up the cast and stuff when we do this, and we'll talk our way through it. I've seen the movie, I know what happens, I guess, but like this one is a little easier for me to sort of remember beat by beat. I feel like Black Manta, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen, was really good. I liked him.
Well, that's what one of the things I wanted to talk about. We'll get there later because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. But
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I think the centerpiece, kind of the big thing, was that the battle in Greece. I don't really know where the hell it was. Maybe it was Italy. I don't. It was somewhere in Europe. Like where they were knocking down like the like they had set up that image. This I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, because I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
mm-hmm.
They use a statue to try to.
Oh yeah. That
line up
wasn't Italy.
where,
That wasn't Italy. That was
in the glass.
Yeah.
Italy. Okay. Yeah, wherever it was. I mean, I said I've not watched that in quite a while. But that whole centerpiece, that whole scene where Mira's blowing up the bottles of wine, and they're being chased by Black Manta, and he's blowing shit up. Like that was a really fun scene. That was really cool.
There was nothing wrong with that scene. The scene worked in terms of his actions. For me, the problem with Black Manta is why? The entire character. Yeah. I know that Black Manta is a big thing for the Aquaman comics. From what I googled, he's a big villain for the Aquaman. In this movie, the entire character, if you took away the entire Black Manta character and just added generic strong Atlantean muscle character, I don't know, some sort of general from the Atlantean army, it would have worked just the same.
Yeah, but
that's my problem. The character itself, it felt like they're trying to set this up for a sequel already, which is, by the way, I understand, something that all of these superhero movies always do. Let's put something in the first movie to set up a sequel, or maybe even the trilogy or whatever. I get it. I know it works like that. But here, it was so blatantly obvious. Like, for example, look, just sidetracking a little bit, look at Doctor Strange, right? And Mordo.
Mm-hmm.
That was all a setup for later on.
Of course.
But the character worked in the movie. He was there as something that drove both Stephen Strange and drew on his character. We learned more about the Mordo character. Everything worked, and it felt natural in the story and the progress. And at the end of the movie, you understood a lot more about him and his reasoning and his whys and his hows. With Black Manta, I just looked at it and I figured, yeah, from the second we see you, we're aware of you're a douche. And at the end of the movie, we're still aware that you're a douche. And he was just there to make sure that people were aware of, if we do a sequel, it's going to be about him. And with Doctor Strange, it wasn't until the end credit scenes where you really understood, oh, okay, we're working towards something. So that's what I meant. Like,
I don't know. I think the reason why they use Black Manta is because James Wan didn't know if we were going to get a sequel, and he wanted to put everything in the movie. You know, I think that the easiest thing to do is say, I'm going to make a movie, and I'll put the Joker in the second or the third one, right? And instead, like, people are like, well, what the fuck? I want to see the Joker now. I think that the story they had to tell was between Ocean Master Orm and Arthur, or Aquaman. That was the story they had to tell to introduce Aquaman and show who he is. But I think James Wan said, I'm doing Aquaman. I'm doing an Aquaman movie. I'm putting fucking Black Manta in there because Black Manta is his Joker. You know what I mean? I do think like a lot of secondary characters, you could probably swap them out, I suppose. But then it's not Black Manta. Black Manta is the shit. So.
Well, I'll have to take your word for that.
Well, I mean, you have it. It's your opinion. You can have your opinion.
No, but I mean, from the comics, I mean, I don't know if Black Manta is that compared to the Joker. Like, okay, like let's just say that for you, you're a big comic book fan, right? I've read comics. I love comics, but you have to admit that the Joker is fundamental. You can go your entire life without watching comics, reading comics, watching cartoons, or watching movies, and you will have known about the Joker.
Yeah.
Who knows about Black Manta?
Yeah, well, children of the 60s and 70s because of Super Friends.
See, but that's the thing. You need to have seen things.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't. He's not the Joker. But like Batman's biggest villain, and Manta is Aquaman's biggest villain. You know, he's much more prominent, or maybe not important. No, he's much more important than even Orm. And Orm's one of his biggest villains too. But Manta is the biggest villain in Aquaman's rogues. So
really,
like, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, I know that as in I heard about it. I heard that he's pretty big for the comics.
Yeah.
Honestly, that makes me kind of sad the way he was treated in this movie, because we saw him twice, and basically both times he got his ass kicked. And it makes him feel very, very underpowered, very like this is not an actual villain, an actual antagonist for our protagonist. He felt weak. He felt like, okay, I'm a thing, I'm a dude, and Aquaman basically wiped the floor with him, and Orm came up to him going like, here's some Atlantean shit, do your thing. And he showed some actual genuine complexity where he took the armor apart and rebuilt it and made it his own. Like, wow, you felt like this character's actually up to shit. This character knows what he's doing. And then we see him, and then we see an awesome fight scene for a few minutes, and that was it. And he got his ass kicked again. He never felt like a powerful antagonist in this movie. And they're going to have to really step up their game for a sequel or maybe a third one, whatever. And he never felt like...
I think when I saw the movie, I think I probably felt similarly now that I think about it. But, I mean, I think that James Wan didn't know if he was going to make another one. Put everything in there, It's...
Good point. Good point.
But, I mean that doesn't mean it works for everybody, But I do think that was probably the intent, And if you could set up a sequel, fine. But, like, if you just try to set up the character for a sequel, he could have just appeared in a post-credit scene. He did try to do something with the character, even if I thought his sort of origin thing was a little bit weak. I thought he looked real cool. I liked when he's blasting shit. I liked him. I thought it was fun. But I also like the actor. The actor, I think, even though I think that a little bit of his origin story was a little bit weak, that stuff with his uncle or dad, whatever the hell that guy was.
Father, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever he was.
Came across very vague.
Yeah, it didn't. That didn't really work a whole lot for me. Like the lesson learned later. Oh, I created an enemy. Yeah, whatever. But I do think that Yahya Abdul-Mateen is just a magnetic actor, and so I sort of forgive some of the stuff due to his performance only, probably. But I mean, whatever. I said it works for you, or it doesn't. I think it worked enough for me. I don't think it was. I don't think that for the story from A to B that it was necessary. But that scene in Italy was awesome, so I forgive it.
Oh, it was. I'll totally give you that one. It was awesome. I do admit though there was a lot of awesome stuff in this movie, and like a lot of little scenes that really worked. For example, Arthur claiming the trident.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And what's the beast called again? Talking to it, and the beast being aware you can understand me. I forgot the beast's name, but you know what I mean. The Kraken, something like that, like a play on Kraken.
It's Karathin or something. It's a
Karathin. Yeah. It was a play on the Kraken, like the mythical Kraken thing. But having said that, it worked. That was pretty intense. That was pretty cool. I appreciated the entire intro, the first, like seeing his parents getting to know each other and getting, like learning to love each other. And I not learning to love each other, but getting to love each other. I love that. The ending in itself, actually, I mean, call me a sucker, call me like, I don't know, but I love that moment where his father walks down the pier and she's standing there.
Me too. Me too.
Call me a romantic, but I like that.
The only thing that worries me a little bit is like they gave them a happy ending, and I wonder if the sequel is going to open with both of them getting murdered.
Oh, that would be something. That would be something if they dare to do that. That would be interesting.
I hope they don't.
No, they shouldn't. But it would be interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Look, at the end of the day, though, I think that maybe there's a lot to say. Like, I don't know, funny things. When they jumping out of the plane, that was fucking funny. That was fucking funny. I like that. That was a good scene. I'm just trying to think of, but that's the thing. I have to try to think of things that I liked, and I know that there were many things that I liked. It's just I have to rewatch the movie to go like, I like that.
What about the scene when they were on that rickety boat trying to fend off the trench?
Yeah.
And
that
then
was well done.
When they dive in the water and you see all the trench.
Yeah, with the flare and just that was well done.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that a lot. I thought that was probably the most memorable visual with them swimming down in the trench, kind of going after them. That was really fun.
I agree. I really fucking agree. I really actually love that scene. It was both visually, but also in terms of the amount of tension that they created.
Oh yeah, and the
It
trench
worked.
looked
And
awesome.
oh, the trench were like, if there was ever a creature that looked like this could live in the depth, because we know how sea creatures in the depth look like, in the darkness of the ocean,
Gross.
it worked. I will say
Yeah.
this: of all a lot of the creature work here, of what could work under the ocean in all the depths that we don't know about, a lot of it looked like it could work. It wasn't until the final battle in the end where you saw some ships and some huge creatures, and you're like, okay, now it's getting a bit over the top. Like if something that huge lived in the bottom of the ocean, we would know about it by now. But other than that, a lot of the small creature work, it really worked, and it really looked very impressive. I think they did a great thing in this movie when it comes to that. So again, design-wise, yeah, I like it. They did good.
I liked I liked that the final battle as it was, but I do think it's sort of become customary in all these movies to have these big special
Right?
effect kind of thing. This is the only movie guilty of it, but um, like the first time I watch it, it's fine, it's cool. But after the first time, then I'm like, I sort of get like I get a little antsy, like all right, just trying to get through some of it.
You need suspension of disbelief, and it's hard at some point to look at everything that is going on the bottom of the ocean, and especially at some point at ocean level. In terms of that you have to realize with our current level of technology and everything, this is just not feasible anymore. This is just a little bit too much. And then the movie still ends with this one scientist dude claiming that Atlantis is real, and the rest of the world going like, it's not real, it's stupid, none of this can actually happen. I'm like, really, really, after everything that happened, everything that we have in terms of sensors that can watch the ocean and everything, right? We would pick up on the seismic activity of all the shit going on right now, right? In that movie, and it took me out of the suspension of disbelief. And I know that some people say the same thing about some of the Marvel movies, but if I look at, for example, Captain America: Civil War, the entire ending scene or fight scene at the uh, Berlin airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's still fucked up, but I kind of believe it because you're like, okay, the media covers it straight away afterward in one of the other movies. And which one was it? Civil War. After Civil War, it was covered in one of the other movies. The battle in Berlin. People are aware of it, and something like what happened in Aquaman at the end, people would be aware of it. And the fact that the world is still going on like none of this is real and Atlantis doesn't exist, it just pulled me out of the movie. Like at this point, people should say, "Oh, okay, no, it's real, it's real."
Interesting. I Stuff like that doesn't necessarily bother me, I guess. I mean, deuce their own. Um,
Mm.
I think that um, I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't really bother me. I don't think of this as anything other than just a good fantasy story, I guess. I'm less worried about the like real world implications and more worried about sort of um like how the story works A to B, which is actually sort of one of the issues with Civil War. I think the story doesn't work.
Mm.
Um, but I
That's
mean,
funny. I'm the,
just
I'm
their
the
own.
exact opposite.
That
That's
airport
funny.
scene is the airport scene is awesome though. But or the stuff
It
with
is.
Spider Man was awesome too. But um, I mean, it doesn't matter.
We can talk about.
We'll get to those movies.
We'll do the MCU
We'll
at
get
some.
there eventually.
We'll do the MCU at some point. No, it's. But I get what you mean, and like you talked about the fantasy thing, and I think that don't mind the fantasy thing as long as you're aware that it's a fantasy setting, and this movie at some point try very hard to make you believe like it's set in the real world. And then they do stuff that makes me go like, but this can't be set in the real world. And I'm not talking about like our real world. I'm talking about, I don't know, some sort of alternate dimension. Talk about the multiverse, whatever you want. And I know I'm reaching here and I'm overthinking, but that's just how I looked at it. So that's just me. But having said that, I do feel Aquaman as purely entertainment is a fun movie.
Yeah, I think that's sort of where I land on it though too. I think it's a fun use of time. It is funny that you said that you watched it in stages, like segments, last time, because
Yeah.
that's how I watch all movies now. Maybe not the first time, but most times I watch movies, I watch like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, and then it's just my ability to focus on shit isn't the same as it once was. Like I can I can only sit still for so long without like I'll read or I need to be doing something else, or chatting. I can't stare at a TV alone. And even by myself, I can't. I don't ever watch TV by myself. I watch it with my wife or my brother, but
Oh
by
no, I get
myself,
that because I mean, dude, I'm
I
single, and even then, I'm still
yeah.
half the time when I watch a movie, I get texts in or something distracts me. So I get what you mean. Like half of the time, I can't even watch a movie in one single setting. I'll pause it, and I need to go do a thing, and I'll do that, and I'll put my phone on the side. But then I notice I have like 5 messages in a group, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I'll pause the movie, whatever, check it. I'm talking to
Yeah.
people. So I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's this is one of the reasons that I hate going to the cinemas these days because people ruin my cinema experience. Fucking douchebags playing with their phone, whatever. I hate going to people talking through movies, people being assholes, whatever. I don't like people. People are assholes. I mean, I'm a people. I know probably I'm an asshole, but I don't like people. I like watching a movie at my own place on my big TV with my home cinema set, and there I go. And I can watch it when I want it, how I want it. And if I want to pause it at some point, I'll pause it. So I'll do that. But the thing is, though, Aquaman is one of those movies where you can easily pause it. You could walk away. You come back 15 minutes later, you press play again. You're like, what was going on? And within 10 seconds, you're like, oh, yeah, right, I remember. Which is a good thing for the movie that it is.
That's fair.
Right?
Want to move on to Shazam?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with Shazam because give me 2 seconds. I actually really love. Okay. This is gonna get interesting. I think. I just need to reply to something. Okay, you go first. You go first about Shazam.
Shazam, I find to be utterly forgettable, and outside of like some momentary stuff, not much fun. Like some of the stuff when he's trying to test out his powers with the kid. I don't know the kid's name, whatever it was. That was kind of funny at least. But most of it felt like rewatching parts of Big with Tom Hanks. It felt like
I understand.
it felt like sort of like somewhat like Big but a superhero. And I know that was what they were kind of going for, but like I would rather just watch Big.
I think I don't know the comics of Shazam as well as some other people probably do, but I actually really liked that part of it. I appreciated all of it. I liked Shazam. I thought Shazam was one of the most entertaining movies in the DCEU, a lot more than Aquaman was. I thought it had a lot more heart than Aquaman had, like more of the other movies. I felt there was much more focus on the characters. I like and enjoy and appreciate Shazam in its silliness. And I felt it really used a lot of the, like people like Mark Strong, for example.
Hmm.
Like Mark Strong is one of my favorite actors. I think he's amazing, and I thought he worked well in this movie, where you have like a huge, powerful character actor playing a part like this. But I don't know, it just worked. Where Willem Dafoe, with his skill, I felt was wasted in Aquaman, Mark Strong worked perfectly, and I felt where they casted Willem Dafoe for that part in Aquaman, it was more like, we need a big name, so let's just, no, here's like a big hat and let's tumble it around. Oh, it's Willem Dafoe, let's cast him. They really looked at who could play this particular part well, and Mark Strong could. So I felt this was casting at its finest. I think I love.
Um, two things. One, I think Defoe was cast as Volko for Justice League. His scenes got cut by Joss Whedon. He was originally cast for Justice League, not for Aquaman. So
Really?
you'll see him in the Justice League movie, presumably, unless Zack
Yeah.
cuts him.
That's
Second
interesting.
is I thought that Mark Strong was completely wasted here. I thought it was awful.
Really?
He's a terrific actor. He's a terrific actor. I love him in everything. I love him in Sherlock Holmes. I love him in I loved him in Sinestro in the Green Lantern movie, which I didn't think was that great, but I loved him. He was great in it. I loved him in Kick-Ass. I mean, I loved him in everything.
Yeah. I loved him in the Kingsman.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. He was great. He was one of the best parts of the movie.
I haven't seen Kingsman. I haven't seen Kingsman 2, right? But so I know the spoiler. Don't spoil the spoiler. I know the spoiler. I haven't seen the second one yet. But yeah, no, I thought Mark Strong was awesome in this. I don't know. He had that her child thing all over him. I loved it. Maybe that's me. But I liked Shazam for its stupidity, for its I'm not taking myself serious thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, they listen. They said not every movie's made for everybody, and not every movie's made for me. And this certainly wasn't. I thought Zachary Levi or Levy, whatever his name, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
I thought that he approached it pretty earnestly. I didn't see anything about the making of the movie, but I do sort of wonder if, because I've seen things like this happen in the past, I wonder if he had a kid play the part and watch the scene.
Could be.
And then try to do it. I felt like he might have been playing. I think he did his best. I don't think I think he approached it appropriately. But I do think he, like, where his character was like socially like 13 or 14 or something, I felt like he was playing a 7-year-old. It just didn't work for me. I thought it was silly, without like cringy silly, not like smirky. Like, oh, I was just like a lot.
So don't hold back. What do you really think?
No, obviously I'm not.
No, I know you're not. I think I don't know. I just liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I laughed. I thought the acting was well done. I like the maybe that's just the sap in me. I like the family idea of it. Like, oh, we're all lovey-dovey. And I don't know. Maybe that's me. But I liked it. And I thought it was fun and entertaining. But I do understand your criticism, except for the Mark Strong one. I understand all your criticism, but the Mark Strong one is one I feel, powerful about.
That's fine. You do you. I suppose.
I always do me. Yeah.
I bet you do. Honestly, I feel like the strongest scene of the movie was when he found his mother.
That was an interesting one. That was, I don't know when powerful. Yeah.
I don't know where it happened in the movie. I said I don't remember the movie anyway. I sort of think it's a little bit of a mess. It is by far my least favorite of the DCEU movies.
It is a DCEU movie, though, isn't it? Because this is part of the DCEU, right? I mean, we have the mention of the Batman because of the Batarang, and there's the funny scene at the end, which was supposed to be Henry Cavill, by the way.
Not supposed to be. It was hoped to be.
Well, hope to be, supposed to be, as in they wrote it as in we want Henry Cavill, but in the end, the director actually said like it was kind of cool that he couldn't make it because if we had Henry Cavill, we need to show Henry Cavill, which means we needed a scene with Henry Cavill and dialogue, and now it just ends with this beautiful moment of the face of what's that kid anyway, going like, and then the movie ends. So it actually works better than if we actually got to see Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
Cavill.
I think it's Cavill.
Okay. Anyway, but other than that, there is no real inclination that any of this has to do with the big MCEU.
No, I mean it doesn't take place like during any of the major storylines or anything like that. But neither does Wonder Woman. It's it's just a. I mean, when Wonder Woman takes place in 1918, and
Good point.
it ends in 1918. I mean, minus the in the future where Bruce sends her the picture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Itself,
I felt that maybe I felt that tone wise in terms of the coloring and everything. I felt that at moments Wonder Woman actually worked pretty well with the rest of like Man of Steel and Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, like the tone of the movie, the actual visual aspects of it, and movies like, for example, even Suicide Squad, sort of with its half muted tone, works pretty well, and movies like, for example, Bird of Prey, Shazam, Aquaman, they really are sort of stand out when it comes to that aspect.
Well, I feel like the ones that have a little bit of less of as they get further away from Zach and his vision, I think that they do start to split a little bit.
That's a good point. Window beer review. Hey, dude. Hey, Thomas. Thanks for watching. What?
Oh no, I say I didn't know who that was. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, I just needed to reply to something very quickly. But yeah, Shazam. I mean, but the thing is, the more I want to say about Shazam, the more I think like, yeah, we've said everything we could about Shazam, right?
Well, they have the Demon Hansu as the wizard.
That was good.
Because the wizard is actually Shazam. The character's not named Shazam. The character's named Captain Marvel. Not Shazam.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, he's the original Captain Marvel, whatever that's worth. Doesn't matter, I suppose, but because I don't really know where, like he was created in like 1940, and he's just after Superman, and in some ways was sort of like a copy of Superman's character, like I guess a lot of heroes were at the time. But his name was Captain Marvel. The wizard's name was Shazam. In order to call forth the powers, he had to call the wizard's. He had to call the wizard's name, which is
Shazam. Yeah, I've heard about that. He's actually Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to touch upon that in the sequel, or if that's a thing that's difficult right now because of the MCU's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think that I mean, they have to sort of keep their brands separate. I imagine they won't touch on it too much if they do at all. I would say. There was some issue at some point with branding. I think the character has sort of become defunct for some amount of time, and when they brought the character back, the Captain Marvel of Marvel was a thing, and there was some lawsuit where they could call him Captain Marvel, that wasn't the issue, but they had to call the book something else. And
okay.
And I think,
but does that if that works for the book, will that work for the movie?
Yeah, it's just the branding they have to use. But I think if maybe 10 years ago, a little longer, DC decided sort of to phase out. I mean, he's still Captain Marvel, but sort of phase out that name in some respects to have the name match the name of the book. Sort of consolidating their branding, I suppose. But anyway, to get back to the character, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the Jimon Hansu or something, the guy who
Timon? Yeah, I
played.
don't know. Yeah, Shazam.
But I like that actor.
Yeah, I love him.
I don't know how he works here. Very small bit part, but I mean, I love him and everything. I mean, there's movies he's in that aren't very good, and he's still great in them.
First movie I ever saw him in was Gladiator, and I've loved him ever since. Every
Yep.
small bit, every big bit, things like The Island,
Oh yeah,
things
he was
the
awesome in the
small
Island.
part. He was amazing in The Island. I loved him in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like those first few minutes. I love the character there. I just love this dude. He's amazing, and I liked him very much in Shazam as well. So yeah,
Yeah, he just sort of owns the camera. He just
he
grabs
does.
your attention every time. He's so good. I love that guy. Um, what did you think of the sort of the climax of the film when all those kids became the
I wanted
whatever?
to ask you about that because, again, I'm not sure how well versed you are in the comics. Is that a thing in the comics? It felt both kind of cool, but also really forced and unnatural. And I don't know, like I've suddenly it felt like Oprah Winfrey. You're a hero. You're a hero. Everybody's a hero. You know?
Yeah, I don't know that much about the Shazam comics, especially like the New 52 and stuff like that. I really don't know. Um, like I mean, I know Dr. Savannah and stuff. But as far as the that family, um, I imagine that the actor didn't. No, not the actor. The director. What was his name? Dave. I imagine he didn't make it up. But I don't know.
Hmm.
That is a comic strip, a comic series I've never really read outside of like small bits.
I think I appreciated the ending in as much as when you look at this foster family and all these kids really wanting to be more, like these kids have this dream and this aspiration of what they could be, and now suddenly they're all superheroes. Like I sort of appreciated that, having all these kids be able to be more, but
Mm-hmm.
it also felt a little bit
Tacked on.
like be okay with who you are. Like if you have to walk with the kid who had to walk with the crutches, right? I mean, look at what he added to the movie before he was suddenly a superhero.
Yeah, he was already pretty funny. Like I don't know.
It was no, but he was funny for the movie, but also as the character, as the person he was, he added so much to everything, right? He was
Yeah,
already such an
yeah,
integral part of
right.
what was going on, and the idea that he could only be worthwhile because now he's a superhero. Like I don't
I
know.
see.
It just
See, I don't think I think that he was already worthwhile. I think the fact that he was worthwhile is what um, made him worthy of being a superhero because he already was the good person. He already was the interesting person. Um, like he was already in some way, like because remember that scene. It was outside the school or something, and he sort of harassed the bully, or he did something, to sort of to help Billy. Like he already he was one that helped him. He was a pretty good guy already. I think that his actions made him worthy of being the superhero because he already was sort of heroic in his own way. Look at me defending a movie I don't like.
no, but that's actually a good thing, isn't it?
I guess.
It's a good thing. In defend, you can dislike something but still like parts of it. You can dislike the whole but still like parts, or the other way around. You can like the whole but still dislike parts.
Yeah, yeah. It looks to me. I'm looking a little bit here on Wikipedia. It looks like these are characters the what people have called the Shazamly, so to speak.
Hmm.
They are characters as such. Like Billy Billy Freeman is Captain. Was it Captain Marvel Jr.? The Grace Mary Bromfield, which is the oldest foster sister. She is Mary Marvel. It looks like these characters do exist
Hmm.
outside of this movie. I don't know. I never really read them, honestly. The character never really interested me a whole lot outside of like the stuff he did with Justice League is fun. I don't mind any of that. But I never cared that much about Billy Batson.
Look, let me just say that because I am internet savvy and because I like comic books, I've always liked comic books, and I googled stuff for years and years and years. I've heard of Shazam. I've heard of the DCEU Captain Marvel, but really, that's it. I knew he existed. This movie was my first. What the fuck? Weird noise outside. This movie was my first real experience with this Captain Marvel Shazam. This was first for me. Maybe that's why I'm easily impressed. I liked it. I don't know. I just thought it was funny and entertaining. And
Yeah, I do think that there's something to having like no expectations. Like you have
yeah,
nothing to base it upon. That makes sense, I guess. But I do think that that's something that helped like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like those aren't really
two. Oh.
those aren't that accurate to the comics, at all, really. Um, or even like Bumblebee and Ant-Man. Oh no, what's his name? Not Bumblebee. It's Ant-Man and what's the villain in Ant-Man? What's his name?
Uh, it's something with an H. Hornet.
It is uh,
Yellow Jacket.
uh,
Yellow.
Yellow Jacket. Yeah, Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
These are not. Yeah, Yellow Jacket. These are not at all accurate to the comics, but no one knows who they are. They're sort of they're no-name characters honestly for the most part. So you're able to kind of create something and have no expectations going in. Like the deep cut comic guys will, they know this stuff. But I mean, shit, I don't know. I know nothing about Darren Cross and Yellow Jacket.
Me neither. But
I
it
do
worked
know
for the
that
movie.
the first person. I do know that the Yellow Jacket costume that was first worn by what's his name, Hank Pym in the comics. I know he was the original Yellow Jacket. To be fair.
Really?
So like, yeah, it wasn't the villain character.
See, those are things that I don't even know.
Right. That's why it works though, because you had no expectations.
Yeah.
So like Scott Lang. Scott Lang? We saw that movie. Nope. Hank Pym was the most famous of the Ant-Man.
The Ant-Mans, yeah. That's one of the things I remember reading about when Ant-Man was being made, and everybody was like, "Why the fuck are they focusing on Scott Lang? Like he's not even the Ant-Man for a lot of people." This is probably a good thing for me because I know of Ant-Man. I never knew the comics, as in I knew the comics existed. I never read any of those comics. For me, right now, Scott Lang is Ant-Man. It works.
Yeah. And I like him. I thought that let me change course just for a second. I thought that it was perfect casting for Scott Lang. I mean, really, what's his name? How's that actor's name? Damn it, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was perfect because he did basically what Robert Downey Jr. did with Tony. Like the character's basically them.
I totally agree. I totally fucking agree. Like he owned the character and he made it something of his own, and I loved it. And I think that Paul Rudd made. Anyway, we're talking about the MCU again. So we're an hour in. Do you want to say anything more about Shazam?
No. And actually, I can't stay on too much longer though. But I think we're done with Shazam anyway.
Well, if you want to, we can end it right now and just end it on this movie, and we can continue at some other point. I'm cool with that as well.
I want to talk to you about one more thing, and then we can call it a day.
Yeah,
What
go
did
for
you
it.
think? What did you think about the announcement of the casting of Supergirl?
Look, dude, I thought it was fucking great. I have no problems with anything. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool way to do it. Like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, and Bruce Geddes, what a hell of a guy, you know?
I mean, the way
Jesus.
they did it was amazing, and I love the reaction. Have you seen what's her? Oh, I forgot her name. How you pronounce it? Mel Louise Benoit. She plays Supergirl on the.
It's her name. She's American, and she does not pronounce her name in the French way. She pronounces her name Melissa Benoist.
Okay, so anyway, I loved her response to it. That was amazing. Like, we need more Supergirls, and I thought it was fantastic. Actually, I want to quickly show you something. Let's see if I can find this. Give me a moment.
Have you seen the
Um,
fan art at all?
yeah, that's the one I'm trying to find here right now. Because if, honest to fucking God, if this would be, I'm going to try and share this here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if this would be, can you see it?
Oh yeah, that's the one I've seen. How
Oh
awesome is
my
that?
God. If that would be the Supergirl we're going to get for the DCEU, how do you do both something that is a cape and not a cape, something that is a skirt and not a skirt, something that is both feminine and powerful, all in one outfit?
Yeah,
It's
I don't
gorgeous.
know.
It's
Yeah, and it just looks great. I mean, in every way. The artist who did this was what was his name? He's a well-known guy. But yeah, that was just awesome. When I saw that on Twitter, I was like blown away.
hmm.
I've seen a few more that I thought were a little bit interesting. I'll send them to you because I can't share my screen. This was
You can share the screen. No, you
this
can
two
share screen actually.
just
Oh,
I
oh,
cannot.
yeah, you should be able to.
I
Wait,
wish I
let me do this, and I should be able to. This should be it. Now, this reminds me of what is basically the current Supergirl outfit in the show. It's very reminiscent,
yes,
and I
but
really like it.
I sent you one more. Someone had
Yes.
this as a sort of an image that was like sort of GIF-like, where it was alternating between the two, and it's really cool.
Give me a moment.
I used to think this was a
I'll
suit.
put it up. I'll put it up.
It shows her with blonde hair.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Yep.
This one, right?
Yep.
It's there.
Well, but I do know I sent it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Yep. It took a
I
while to
like
send to me.
that. I like
Yeah,
that. I love it. I
me
think
too.
it's very well done.
Yeah, I think this actress is. I mean, she seems really quite lovable. I don't know. I don't know her other than just watching how emotional she got over getting the role. But like I'm excited about having this sort of new idea of who Supergirl could be, rather than I saw
Yeah.
someone call her like an Aryan Superwoman because the blonde hair lies.
Do really? I mean, I don't know. I don't care about all that shit. I mean, I don't care.
No, no,
But I think that from what I've seen so far, it's going to work out great. I don't know the actress, so for me, whenever I hear about a casting, I'm just going to go look and go like, wow, that's cool. We got a new someone for something, and I'll just wait for trailers in the movie and see what
yep,
happens. And people who flake and flame and
yeah.
whatever.
That movie starts. Well, I got tired. Not tired. That's the wrong word. I stopped getting weird about casting post Heath Ledger because I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? The dude from 10 Things I Hate About You.
And then the movie, he was
Then,
awesome. He
mhm.
was so good.
So I
So
stopped that.
yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
I wait to see. I just wait to see what happens, and then most times I'm happy. I guess sometimes I'm not, but most times these directors kind of have an idea what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well,
all right.
I'm curious about it. So anyway, you said you needed to get going. So we had a fun hour, I think.
Yep.
And
Oh,
we
yeah.
can do another one at some point. And this was fun and this was great. People can rewatch it. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we should wait to do the next one for after you see Wonder Woman 84. So we have 2 movies to talk about.
Exactly. I want to wait. Hopefully Wonder Woman 1984 is released somewhere on a streaming service here soon. I doubt it because of international rights and everything, because it hasn't even hit cinemas here because of the COVID and everything. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. So we'll just leave the DCEU for now, but we could always do something in between with another movie, of course, and that's cool. And we'll talk about that. But right now, I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Michael, for joining me. This was a fun hour, filling in my evening and filling in your afternoon. And yeah, we'll talk at some other point, right?
All right. Good seeing you, brother. I'm out.
Cheers, Drip. Bye-bye.